I'm a former Disney cast member, and today I'm telling you all of my secrets about Tomorrowland and Magic Kingdom. Let's go! Tomorrowland is one of the 6 themed lands here in Magic Kingdom, home to some of fan favorite rides and the newest ride in Disney World, aka Tron Light Cycle Run. It's a very popular land and it's got a bunch of hidden details and secrets, so let's get right to it. When the idea for Tomorrowland was initially conceived, it was meant to be a look into the future. Makes sense, Tomorrowland. It would be a representation of what we think tomorrow will look like. But there's one major problem with that. Tomorrow is never constant. Tomorrow is constantly changing. Tomorrow catches up with you quickly and becomes the present or even the past. For example, when Magic Kingdom opened in 1971, one of the rides here in Tomorrowland was called Flight to the Moon. This attraction first debuted in Disneyland. However, when it was built in Disney World, it was already outdated, even on its first day of operation. That's because a few years prior to the ride opening, we had already gone to the moon, and most park goers watched that historic event on television. The land had a total refurbishment in 1994 as sort of an Art Deco retro futuristic Tomorrowland that never was. The current iteration that we see today gives off an almost nostalgic space charm. There have been a lot of changes in Tomorrowland over the years, but this video isn't a history lesson, it's a secrets video. So let's get to the secrets. Now, a lot of my secrets in today's video have to do with the rides. So, let's start with Buzz Lightyear's Space Ranger Spin. This is a very popular shooter attraction themed to Buzz Lightyear from the Toy Story franchise. In 1974, the attraction opened as If You Had Wings and then later changed to Delta Dreamflight. It was sponsored by Delta Airlines and you traveled to different locations throughout the ride. Fun fact, the Delta Dreamflight sign is still here, believe it or not. So when they changed the attraction from Delta Dreamflight to Buzz Lightyear, they kept the same exact sign, they just painted over it. And you can actually tell, because it used to look like a cloud. So if you come over here and you can see on the side of the sign, it still very much looks like a cloud. They just covered it up. So it's still the same sign. Delta Dreamflight will always be with us. And I'll give you even more secrets than that. The ride track for Buzz is still the original track from the previous ride. So when you're on Buzz and you enter the emergency escape hatch, it's actually a leftover scene from Delta Dreamflight. Originally you went into a giant turbojet, and you can tell this if you look at the red lights on the attraction. It still almost looks like a turbojet. Now our next set of secrets, we're moving on to a different attraction. An attraction that's actually older than Disney World itself. Do you know where we're headed? That's right, we are at the Walt Disney's Carousel of Progress. This is a huge piece of Disney history here in Magic Kingdom in Tomorrowland. So Carousel of Progress was built for the 1964 World's Fair. This was actually one of Walt's ideas. He loved this idea. He wanted to see the progression throughout the future, and that is the reason we have this very popular show here today. But let's talk a little bit more about the history. So the Carousel of Progress was in Disneyland from 1967 to 1973. Then it got moved here to Disney World in 1975. And fun fact about this attraction, it is the only attraction at Disney World to be touched by Walt Disney himself. This is it. That's why we all should respect the Carousel of Progress. And a couple more fun secrets. There are several hidden Mickeys throughout the show, specifically in the final scene of the Carousel of Progress, but also in the very first scene, the Robin outside the window is actually the Robin from Mary Poppins in the Spoonful of Sugar scene. So I think that's one of my favorite facts about Tomorrowland, about rides in general. Now we are making our way through Tomorrowland, and of course this is Disney World. Disney loves attention to detail, and even in this land that doesn't necessarily have a whole lot, there's some really fun details that everyone walks past in this land, and you might not even know that they existed. You might not know why they're here. You might not know what's going on, and yes, I am talking about these random palm trees in Tomorrowland. They have a purpose, they have meaning, just like everything. So let's talk about it. So why does Disney have these weird metal palm trees in Tomorrowland? You might think it doesn't make sense, but trust me, it does. So these are metal palm trees because in the future, with the idea of this future Tomorrowland that Disney has created here, in the future we use metal palm trees as solar power. And actually, these metal palm trees were invented by the Light and Power Company, which name has changed now, but the merchandise shop outside of Space Mountain used to be called Light and Power Company, and that was the company that created these metal palm trees. So you can see they even have actual coconuts on the palm trees because these coconuts fill up with energy, and then when the tree gets harvested, that's how you use the energy. Now this isn't a super futuristic idea anymore because we do have solar power, But for 1971, this was very futuristic, very technologically advanced, thinking that we would use solar power in the future, and now we do. And you can even see this tree looks a little different because the coconuts have been harvested. They have been used for their energy, so that's why the tree leaves are bent up like that. So not only did Disney predict the future with solar energy, but they also use it themselves. So Disney does use solar power for the parks. There is, of course, that Mickey-shaped one that you see on the monorail, but there's actually another one that's huge, a huge area of solar panels that actually powers 2 of the theme parks. So Disney does use solar power, and so does everyone in the future in Tomorrowland. Also, this doesn't have anything to do with secrets. This is just a Fry fact, but there is a Joffrey's standalone location here in Tomorrowland. I recommend grabbing your coffee over here instead of outside the park at the monorail. Sometimes that can be long. So if you need a coffee, need a little pick-me-up and you're in Tomorrowland, head to Joffrey's Revive. I haven't had my coffee yet today. I'm already here, so might as well, right? I got it. So I got a shaken Jamaican cold brew. I added a little bit of cream this time, and they asked me if I wanted cold foam on top, so I said sure, why not? Anyways, back to the secrets. All right, next up, we've got Space Mountain. Now, this is a very popular roller coaster attraction here in Tomorrowland for good reasons. It's a great ride. But, fun fact about Space Mountain, it is actually an original Magic Kingdom ride. A lot of the rides here we have in Magic Kingdom were in Disneyland first. They're Disneyland originals and they brought them here. Space Mountain is the opposite. So Space Mountain came to us here in Magic Kingdom in 1975, and then after they realized how cool it was, then they built one in Disneyland. So this is a Magic Kingdom original, makes it a great ride. There are actually, if you can see, the beams on the outside of this cool, unique building are actually the support beams. So they had to put them on the outside of the building so that on the inside, the projections on the screen to make it look like you're in space. If the support beams were on the inside of the attraction, that would ruin that effect. So the beams had to be on the outside. There are a lot of nods to 75 in the queue. This, of course, means 1975 when this attraction came here to Magic Kingdom. Now, this next fact is for Breedlove. He's gonna love this one. He probably already knows it. I'll have to ask him. But when you are leaving Space Mountain at the end queue, there is luggage at the end of Space Mountain that has a sticker on it that says Mesa Verde. Now, this is actually a nod to Horizons that was over in Epcot Center. Mesa Verde was one of the locations you could visit on that attraction. So that one's for you, Breedlove. And back in 1975, there was a Wonderful World of Disney TV special celebrating the opening of Space Mountain. Very fun, unique fact that this is probably one of the secrets that you won't know about. The celebrity that hosted this TV special was Lucy Arnaz, the daughter of Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz. So that's my I Love Lucy fun fact for you today. Now, did you know there used to be a Skyliner type gondola system here in Magic Kingdom Park? It was called the Skyway. It was a gondola attraction that connected Tomorrowland and Fantasyland. It closed in 1999 and was abandoned for about 10 years before they did anything with the building. The Fantasyland station was where the Tangled restrooms are now, but the Tomorrowland station is still here, halfway. They took the top floor off and changed the first floor to the bathrooms. Yes, right here, the bathrooms in Tomorrowland. Used to be an attraction. They just took the top floor off, kept the bottom floor. Now, as I make my way over to a different part of Tomorrowland, we do need to talk about this right here, because this is actually a big hidden detail as well. The red spaceship on top of the Cool Scanner misting station is actually a prop for the 1984 film Flight of the Navigator. It was obviously painted, props were added, but fun film fact, there's a huge film prop sitting here in Tomorrowland that nobody knows about, but I love it. All right, and of course we have to talk about the quick service location in Tomorrowland, and that is Cosmic Ray's Starlight Cafe. Now, it's often stated by cast members and guests that this restaurant is the busiest restaurant in the world. While it's not been proven, it's hard to argue when you're here at peak mealtime. Right now it's closed because I'm here at 9:45 in the morning, but that's a hard point to argue. Now, I do know that at one point in time, not sure. Oh, it's Tigger and Pooh. I saw him in the reflection of the window and then I turned around. He's so cute. I love it. Anyways, so I know at one point in time, Cosmic Ray's Starlight Cafe was the busiest restaurant revenue-wise on Disney World property, also making it the busiest restaurant in the US and third busiest in the world. So that fact was from a few years ago. Not sure if it's still true to this day, but at one point that was true. But we can't talk about cosmic rays without talking about Sunny Eclipse. So Sunny Eclipse is the animatronic that you can see inside Cosmic Rays. He plays a musical set for you. He sings songs. He plays the futuristic keyboard organ. But there's some fun facts about Sunny Eclipse as well. So before coming to Disney World, Sunny Eclipse, or rather his audio animatronic, was the baggage screener at Tokyo Disneyland Star Wars. So Sunny Eclipse has done some traveling. He used to live in Tokyo and now lives here in Magic Kingdom. Sunny, who is described by his announcer, Mike Feedback, Mike describes him as the biggest little star in the galaxy. Says that he is from Nork on the planet Zork. And actually, according to the storyline here, Cosmic Rays is the first Earth restaurant franchise from outer space. So Sunny's pretty lucky to have that gig. Now I'm sure you all love a good hidden Mickey, and there's actually one in Tomorrowland that I don't think many people know about. It's hidden in plain sight. You would never know it's there. So I am here outside of Tomorrowland Speedway. If you look a little to the left, and you will see this street light. Now this street light has 3 round hooded lights on it. This street light was designed so that Mickey would appear on the ground twice a day when the sun is in just the right place. I don't think I'm here at the right time right now. There's nothing on the ground, but this is a hidden Mickey. So when the sun hits it just right, hidden Mickey will appear on the ground. No, not quite yet, but you can kind of see, get an idea. So eventually, this will turn into a hidden Mickey. Now, of course, one thing that puts Disney apart from other theme parks is their attention to detail, and even with things like this, plants that just look futuristic. I don't know how to explain it, but this looks like a tree in the future, and it makes sense. But this is one of my main talking points in this video, is actually the plants of Tomorrowland. Let me explain. Of course, all the plants look pretty and they look on theme and on point, but there's more of a purpose behind them, at least here in Tomorrowland. So in theory, in this futuristic world of tomorrow, everything is edible. All of the plants are edible. Marigolds are edible, they're used as spices, roses are edible, and you can also eat bamboo if it's cooked properly. So just like our power palms, everything in the future, all of the plants are sustainable. They help us create a better tomorrow, so therefore, everything is edible. And fun fact about Disney parks in general, in all of Disney parks, Disney doesn't want to risk a child eating a poisonous plant. So almost all the plants in Disney World can be eaten. Now let me add a disclaimer. I'm not telling you to eat the plants, okay? That's not a smart idea. I'm just saying that Disney thought of everything because, you know, what if a kid's running around and he accidentally eats a leaf off a plant? Because kids do funny things sometimes. So in order to prevent that, Disney doesn't put anything poisonous in their parks, just in case that were to happen, because safety is most important. So Disney really thinks of everything. Edible plants, it fits with the theme of Tomorrowland, and it's also for safety. Fun fact. Next, we need to talk about the thing that you all know exists in Tomorrowland. You don't know what it is, and you don't know why it's here. I'm gonna explain. I'm talking about this. This is the Kugel Fountain. It is a ball of granite. It weighs 6 tons, which equals to 12,000 pounds. There's no way that anyone should be able to move this ball, but you actually can. You can only move it because of the water underneath, which is called aquaplaning. Kugel actually means ball or sphere in German. And if you spin it around enough, it's actually a map of the stars, and Cinderella Castle is on it. So let me see if I can find it. Oh look, there it is. You can you see it? Can you tell? It's Cinderella Castle. When you're on the People Mover, you will move past Progress City. This was a model developed by Walt Disney himself, and actually this was his original vision for Progress City, which ultimately turned into Epcot. So the Epcot we have now today, the original inspiration was Progress City, which was developed by Walt Disney himself, and that's what this model represents. While you're on the ride at one point, you'll hear someone come over the intercom and say, "Paging Mr. Morrow, Mr. Tom Morrow. Please contact Mr. Johnson in the control tower to confirm your flight to the moon." This page might just seem random, but it actually pays homage to several different aspects of Disney World history. Tom Morrow used to be the host of Innoventions in Epcot, and Mr. Johnson was a character on the extinct attraction Mission to Mars. In addition, Mission to Mars had previously been named Flight to the Moon, which explains why Tom Morrow and Mr. Johnson are looking to fly there. And there's a hidden Mickey on this ride. It's very hard to see because you move very quickly past it, but when you go inside after Space Mountain, you go inside and you see the lady to your right getting her hair done at the salon. There's actually a hidden Mickey on her belt. You have to look very quickly to see it because you pass right by it. I tried to get it on camera. I don't know if I totally got it or not, but there's a hidden Mickey on her belt. Also, I'm just walking through Tomorrowland right now, and I just discovered another secret just now. Okay, so right when you're turning around this corner, right above Merchant of Venus, the voiceover actually just referenced another old attraction, If You Had Wings. So that's just a fun fact I just discovered right now while hanging out in Tomorrowland. All right, and those are all my secrets I have for you today, all in Tomorrowland here in Magic Kingdom. Now, what I want to know is, what other lands do you want to know? What other secrets do you want to know about? I will tell you, because I know a lot of secrets. It's one of my favorite things about the Disney parks. Also, which hidden detail was your favorite? I want to know. And were there any that you truly did not know? I hope so. If you like this video, be sure to like and subscribe, and now go watch my video all about the secrets of the underground tunnels in Magic Kingdom. See you there.